Over the years, Nigerians have been yearning for a credible voting system due to irregularities that hampered previous elections, to include ballot stuffing, snatching, intimidation of voters, violence, and manipulation of election results. To bring sanity in the voting system, INEC in 2017 introduced direct data capture machine technology, which produced electronic voters register, and this has since been used for all elections. To further ensure that 2023 general elections are different from all other elections, Independent Electoral Commission introduced the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS. The introduction of the electronic voting is hoped will save the country from the awful experiences of the past that promises free, fair, and transparent elections, as well as speedy processing of results. How well enlightened are voters on this new method of electronic voting ahead of the 2023 general elections? This is our focus this afternoon on Panorama. From the studios of NTA Maiduguri, I am Abubakar Musa. Let's move on. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in the country after a week-long official engagement in the United States. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the early hours of Sunday. He was received on arrival by the governors of Bauchi and Kwara states, Minister of State for the FCT, Inspector General of Police, Director General, Department of State Services, and other top government officials. While in Washington, D.C., the president attended the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, convened by President Joe Biden as part of his renewed efforts at resetting and improving U.S. ties with the continent.
Very, very successful. And there are so many things to talk about. But perhaps foremost among all of these things is the fact of the strategic partnership that President Muhammadu Buhari and President Biden have struck. Clearly indicating that the two leaders are on one page. One page in promoting the values of democracy. He described President Muhammadu Buhari as a role model for the continent, as a champion for democracy in Africa. I assure you that this is going to come with a lot of dividends. President Biden has indicated, in the course of this summit, that he is going to work for a permanent seat on the G20 for Africa. If there is that strategic partnership between Nigeria and the United States, there's every indication to assume, to suspect that they will work for the emergence of Nigeria because we're on the same page with them.
Malam Garba Shehu is equally elated over the outcome of the several business and investment fora attended by the president to market
see
Nigeria.
What is coming from, the energy sector. President Muhammadu Buhari has been a champion for a just energy transition, under all of these things that are going on with the climate change, processes all over the world. He spoke, he got the right forum to address the issue. And it is clear from all of the things that have emerged in America that there's a growing consensus between Nigeria and the United States for the use of gas, which is important to our nation as a transition energy. So we hope this will be taken forward. And an important element also is the fact that, we struck this agreement, right there, in the presence of officials representing President Biden, for the $10 million US solar energy, project. That's going to be a change maker for the country. 5,000 megawatts of solar power is huge.
During the three-day high-level engagements, the United States announced several multi-billion-dollar commitments to Africa towards advancing the priorities they share for a prosperous future. Away from that now, to tell you that women across Nigeria gathered at the nation's capital, Abuja, to celebrate the legacies late Mrs. Mariam Babangida left behind, which has empowered Nigerian women and girls to contribute to the development of the nation. This was the celebration of National Center of Women Development, which was commissioned under Better Life for Rural Women in 1992. Basi Ita Ekpa will now tell us more.
Nigerian women. She created awareness from the grassroots to where we are today, and the awareness she brought to us. She said, this center gave hope and relevance to Nigerian women.
That set the tone for the celebration of the National Center for Women Development at 30, which speakers noted has lived to the ideals of the founder.
We wish to note that there's still much work to be done. This is because Nigerian women are yet to be fully empowered within the framework of national and international targets of bridging the gender inequality gaps.
And I enjoin you all to continue to support the giant strides of the National Center for Women Development in empowering Nigerian women through its various mandated programs and activities.
The wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, who was represented, observed that in line with its mandate, the center has supported the goals of the Nigerian agenda and women development.
That part of her support to this center is to extend some of the services that this center has been doing, to include setting up a special center for special needs.
The quality of every society is directly proportional to the respect that that society accords their women.
The event was also used to raise funds for the revitalization of the center. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
Let's talk politics now. The People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, says if elected, his administration will address insecurity in the southeast. Atiku Abubakar was speaking at the PDP presidential rally in Owerri. Chukwubike Chukwu has more details.
The People's Democratic Party presidential campaign train arrived the state in continuation of its rally across the country. PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar assured the people that if elected, he will proffer solution to security challenges facing the state, as Nigeria will be great again.
I want to assure you that if I have opportunity and you elect me, business, trading will pick up again. I'm going to set aside $10 billion US just to empower women and young men in business.
National chairman of the party, Yochi Ayu, in his remarks, called on Imo people to vote massively for candidates of the party.
No other choice. We cannot have other choice. Whoever that's telling you any other thing is making a mistake. Imo is PDP. And by God's grace, we did it in 2019. In 2023, we are going to double what we did last time.
The event attracted People's Democratic Party chieftains from within and outside the state. In Owerri, Chukubike Chukwu, NTA News.
And still talking politics, presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, says his candidature provides better option with clear-cut vision for national development and stressed the need for Nigerians to trust him with their votes. He said this while inaugurating the party structure in Southern Kaduna Senatorial Zone. Haruna Mohammed completes the story.
In company of the party's governorship candidate in Kaduna State, Senator Suleiman Usman Hunkuyi and party faithfuls, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso stormed Southern Kaduna to interact with his supporters. While inaugurating the party structure in the area, the NNPP presidential candidate said the party is poised to redeem the country from socio-economic decay. He urged people in Southern Kaduna to vote the party in all elections as the surest way to prosperity. Governorship candidate Suleiman Usman Hunkuyi, NNPP remains party to beat in Kaduna State. He urged party supporters not to relent in their quest to wrestle power from the ruling party. Other speakers pledged to mobilize support for the party in all elections. While speaking to NTA News, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso summed up his visit to Southern Kaduna this way.
So happy with the traditional rulers, we are so happy with the politicians, and more importantly, the masses that we represent came out en masse in all the places we visited, both Muslims and Christians.
The party in Kaduna State hosted its presidential candidate to a two-day engagement. While at Southern Kaduna, the presidential candidate and his entourage paid homage to some traditional leaders in the zone. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, you're on to Panorama on the largest television network in Africa, the NTA. Let's take a break now. More reports for you shortly.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
Glad to have you back. Let's move on now. Stakeholders in the electoral process in Borno have intensified awareness campaign for electorates to acquaint them with the new voting procedures that is hoped will lead to a free, fair and transparent 2023 general elections in the country. Memuna Garba sought views of key actors on level of preparedness towards ensuring successful conduct of the polls using the electronic voting procedure tested and certified in some state elections.
With less than 100 days to the commencement of 2023 general elections, the nation's electoral umpire, various political parties and stakeholders are intensifying efforts towards ensuring smooth conduct of the exercise.
We have been making voter education, we have been making sensitizations. We have our band that has been moving around with the broadcast of the exercise currently taking place.
The major political parties in the state, on their part, are also not relenting in ensuring that all their members and supporters are sensitized on the new voting procedures, as registration and authentication of electorate will be computer-based.
We have started about 2 months ago sensitizing and educating our electorates, right from the ward, local government, state, and up to the national level.
As far as APC Borno State is concerned, I think we have started sensitizing our teaming supporters with regard to the new mode of elections this time around. And honestly speaking, we started with the PVC card.
We have been doing some exercises. We are now training the trainers. After training the trainers will go and train the rest of the executives and the agents.
National Orientation Agency in Borno has since mobilized all its community orientation and mobilization officers across the state on intensified public awareness sensitization and enlightenment campaigns on voter education, targeting traditional and religious leaders, among others.
Where the local government level is not reachable, we'll do them at the designated community and the host community ITP camps, where we feel and we observe that majority of the local government people are living there.
With these efforts put in place, electorate will no doubt cast their ballot without much difficulties. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
I am now being joined in the studio by the head of operations of INEC in Borno State, Audu Mahmuda Dawya, who is going to shed more light on the new voting procedures. It's a pleasure to have you join us on Panorama. All right, thank you once again for joining us. All right, to start with, sir, how feasible is the use of BVA system for the 2023 general elections? That's talking about the bimodal voter accreditation.
The bimodal voter accreditation being adopted or introduced in the forthcoming general election will replace the smart card reader that was used in 2019. This is bimodal as it captures both the thumb fingerprints as well as the facial of the prospective voter. It will be used for accreditation, voter accreditation, as well as transmission of election result at the end of election in every polling unit.
All right. Okay, sir, how far has INEC gone in sensitizing voters on this development, especially now, with IDPs resettled in their ancestral homes?
INEC is on it. INEC has been using all means for sensitizing voters. My coming here to represent the Honorable Commissioner is also part of the sensitization. Voters are well sensitized. Our head of voter education and publicity has been going from radio station, all the radio stations in Maiduguri, as well as UINTA, as well as other TV stations have been visited. The REC has paid advocacy visits to various stakeholders. Even tomorrow, the Honorable Commissioner will conduct a stakeholders meeting with appropriate stakeholders to inform, sensitize them on the level of preparedness of the Commission in the state for the 2023 general election. INEC has been on it, voter education sensitization.
It's actually good to hear that. Now, tell us, what is the motive behind this new system of BVA by INEC?
As we said earlier, it is replacing the smart card reader. This smart card reader, in 2015, it was used along with a form called incident form. This incident form has been abolished, and the smart card reader also itself has been abolished. INEC has introduced this to improve on the quality of the election. INEC wants each vote to be counted. INEC wants each vote to be counted. That is why this BVAS is introduced. It will, as you rightly said, the era of ballot snatching and ballot stopping or box stopping has gone for good, because using this one, nobody will be accredited manually without passing through the BVAS. So nobody is bypassing the BVAS. I want to use this opportunity to inform stakeholders in the electoral process that the BVAS will be used in accrediting every voter that will vote. If you allow yourself to bypass the BVAS, it means you want an overvoting to occur in that polling unit. And once there is overvoting, the result for that unit will be cancelled. It will be rejected, it will be null and void. So I want to use this opportunity to inform our stakeholders that everybody
must pass through this Vivas accreditation.
All right. Okay, what are the challenges in the awareness campaign on electronic voter education, even though it was tested and certified in some other states' elections?
Yes, as you rightly said, this Vivas has been used in off-seasons election in Anambra, it was used in Ekiti, it was used in Ocean. These are all governorship elections. It has not been used on a large scale or national election. We are trying it, and INEC has been improving on it. And the accreditation, which the Vivas is used for, as well as transmission of result, has been successful in all these elections. We don't entertain any fear by the grace of God. All gray areas have been worked upon and improved, and we hope by 2023 the election will be free, fair, credible, and successful.
All right, our best wishes to you. Head of Operations of INEC in Borno State, Audu Mahmouda Dawoya. Dear, thank you once again for being part of Panorama.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's look at other issues now. Civil servants in Borno have over the years been enjoying promotion without any examination or interview due to ban on the conduct of a promotional exercise. Yagum Subukar, in this report, sought to know reasons why Borno State government decided to lift ban on promotional exercise where workers must pass criteria set before advancing to the next level.
For the first time in many years, Borno State government is introducing promotional examinations for civil servants following lifting of ban on promotional exercise. With me to discuss more on this, on what prompted the Zulum administration to introduce the promotional examinations, is the acting Borno State Head of Service, Barrister Malam Fannami. Sir, what necessitated the introduction of promotional examination for civil servants?
The embargo on promotion was introduced then by government to forestall certain observed anomalies and irregularities in the promotional processes that were taking place, especially in some departments and agencies of government. Since then, there have been demand for the lifting of the ban, and happily His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, has now directed for the lifting of the ban or embargo on promotion, and also directed for the introduction of promotional examinations. The objective of introducing examination, simply and squarely, is to ensure quality service delivery to the people.
Now, what call do you have for civil servants now that they are going to sit for these promotional examinations for the first time?
The administration of Professor Baogana has achieved a lot for the civil servants, especially in terms of training, provision of competent working environment for civil servants, prompt payment of salaries and entitlements, and he has also promised to do a lot more. So I'm now therefore calling on all the civil servants to reciprocate this gesture by embracing the examination policy. It is well intended. It is for the betterment of the service and the civil servants.
It is hoped that with this new development, productivity in the Borno State Civil Service will be enhanced. It is back to you in the studio.
Scaling up the Sangaya Al-Majri Islamic Studies to the conventional system of education will provide equal opportunity for education to all children in Nigeria. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, stated this in Gombe while inaugurating the Goni Sani Integrated Model Sangaya Islamic School. Emmanuel Akila will now bring us more details.
The Goni Sani Sangaya Islamic School receives Al-Majri students from within Nigeria and from neighboring African countries for over a century. Despite the condition under which they study, the Sangaya has produced thousands of Quranic graduates, now scholars and experts in Quran and other fields of discipline. The condition of teaching and learning in the Sangaya becomes more conducive when Gombe State government explores the opportunity under the Universal Basic Education Commission UBEC to turn it around.
It's a special Friday for us, the day the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us here for this very, very important program. The commissioning of this Sangaya Model School in the state capital Gombe, one of the models.
Da gurin nan ginin laka ne inda ake zama a
The place where students study was not conducive, but now it is good. The school was in bad shape, but the governor has transformed it. The center now is not only a Tsangaya with the right facilities for Almajiri students, but also a vocational center for skills acquisition.
BESDA will not be complete until we are able to uplift all those children that are out of school and align them with a formal education, so that together we'll have a complete educational system that covers basic education that is for free to all our children that are the future leaders.
The inauguration ceremony brought to Gombe scholars from across Nigeria, including Gonisani alumni. There were lectures on efforts to transform the Almajiri Tsangaya system of studies to provide Quranic knowledge side by side Western education. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Sports update is next, and here is Oche Mbedi with that.
We begin with the ongoing Federation of Public Service Games holding in Jos Plateau State, as Team NTA is looking to improve on its previous outing by winning medals at the event. The team sports manager Saidu Waziri, speaking after the opening ceremony, said he is optimistic the athletes will make NTA proud.
I want to thank the management of NTA under the leadership of our able DG, Comrade Abdulhamid Dembos, for the full support. The activities here have started beeping up, and then our athletes are in high spirits. I believe we are going to come with some silverwares.
NTA is participating in 3 sporting events of badminton, table tennis, and tennis. Meanwhile, Team Nigerian national male hockey team to the just concluded first Hockey Fives World Cup qualifiers in Egypt have returned to the country after their impressive performance at the competition. Team Nigeria finished second in the qualification series behind host Egypt to book a place at the Hockey Fives World Cup scheduled to hold in Oman in 2024.
World Cup is not a joke. It's different from the qualifier, so we need to do a lot of work before we get to the World Cup.
Because we make a lot of sacrifice, just the way the board are making the sacrifice to see that everything moves well. So that's why we have to do it so that we will not fail them and disappoint them.
The World Cup itself, we're planning a training tour where we can travel with the team outside to gain more experience. As for us, getting experience around Europe and few countries that play more of the fives will help the players.
And finally, to football. Excited fans in France and Argentina are counting down the hours to what promises to be a memorable World Cup final in Doha. History is on the line for both sides, as France are aiming to become just the 3rd team to retain the trophy in its 92-year history, while Argentina, whose hopes and dreams of the nation winning the World Cup rest on the shoulder of Lionel Messi, is hoping to crown a glittering career with a World Cup medal in what the 35-year-old says will be his final game for his country. With Sports Update, Oche Mbiri, NTA News.
And just before we leave you, do remember to always stand with the Nigerian Television Authority in winning the war against rape and rapists. Be a star in that regard. And that's Panorama for today from the studios of NTA Maiduguri. Thank you once again for being part of it. Do enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Bye.